We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the king of podcasts.
Welcome to the program. King of Podcasts here with you. And again, website is kingofpodcasts.com. Of course, you can find the show at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all major podcast platforms. And of course, right on the website, you can go ahead and direct to it and then go to wherever you want to go ahead and catch the show. And I hope you're going to do that. And also, if you want to go ahead and help my supporters club, I've put some additional episodes up there. And if you want to just go ahead and offer a donation, $2 a month. Again, kingofpodcasts.com. Look for the supporter section and look for Depraved and Debaucherous episodes in the supporters club section. Click on one. You can go right through, click through, donate. It's real quick, just real easy, and it really helps me out. So I hope you'll consider it. So I'm on my TikTok feed, my For You page, infested with young, beautiful women that are asking for dating advice or frustrated over first dates or frustrated over guys or asking guys, what is it about you that you're not asking us out? Why are you not going out with us? Why are you not doing anything? Or if I don't see another clip from whatever.com or Fresh and Fit or Sadia Khan, I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, or Billy Ray Brandt, or, you know, there's a lot of them out there. There's like the Emily Kings of the world. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's all this. And there's another guy, I forget his name, that he's always sitting on a chair and he's got like a Joe Rogan microphone in his hand, but he just like sits there and does it. And I'm sure he doesn't do a podcast. It's just the way he wants to do it. And he just sits back there rocking the chair and it's like, you don't know how to do this. We're going to show you how to do this. You can join my group. And it's like this whole black hole of dating advice or commentary that's out there. And there's so much of it. It's amazing how much social media allows people just to go ahead and just trauma dump, I feel like. Or really allows us to see the real delusion of where people are really feeling about that right now. Because there's a lot of that too. So much of it. And it concerns me. You know, it really does. And there are so many different things that get brought up in terms of ideas of what to do to help you out, you know, if you really want to get yourself out there. So one of the things that I want to look at, first of all, was a story from The Cut. And I forget, this is from the New Yorker, whatever website this is, but there's a story that came out 2 weeks ago. Is dating a total nightmare for you now? Trying to date a young woman has gotten so bad it's gotten viral. So there was a young lady from Austin, Texas, Anya Haas, and she brings up her story. And I want to see, do we have her here? Is it just a matter of, we don't have, this story didn't include what she did, but I guess I have to go looking for, here we go. I have to go look for her TikTok feed so I can be able to find out what it was that she said. So here it is. Let's go ahead and play this for you real quick now of a date that she had gone out with and did not do well.
I'm not someone that posts or cries or anything on the internet, so this is a new one for me. I guess I need girls to rally with me and lift me up because I feel so defeated right now. I've been trying to meet someone, just anybody worth my time for years. And dating apps are so awful. I don't need to explain to you how awful the dating apps are. So I've been trying to meet people in public, and they're still trash when I do randomly meet people in public, but tonight takes the cake.
Now, put this in mind, too, that this lady is Anya Haas on TikTok, ANYAHAAS. And it looks like she was dressed and just came back from a date. And that's the part that goes on. And by the way, the video is 6 minutes. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I see more videos like this all the time. And if it's not this part, it's like, okay, women with their pets. I see a lot of cat and dog videos. Or I see a lot of women that are just going out there complaining and really upset over how much work they're doing right now, what they have to do, the normal run around to go run around traffic to get from work, from home, and this and that, and have a social life. A lot of young women, 20s, 30s, that are just really upset. And oh my goodness, there's a young lady, a beautiful young girl that is so adamant of finding an older man. She's in her 20s, early 20s, and she wants someone that's definitely over 40, preferably maybe more towards late 40s, early 50s. This is a common thing now. And that's part of the thing I noticed with myself too. Okay. there's something to be said about why guys go for so much younger and women go for so much older. So on the maturity level, the guys are not fooling around anymore, not just trying to go ahead and hook up. But at the time, they might have gotten divorced. They might have had, no relationships at all. And they're just getting to the point where like, okay, they're definitely financially stable and they're grounded and they can appreciate a young woman that they can go ahead and kind of mentor and kind of be a father figure to. Maybe she's not looking for it that way, but it kind of sounds like it is. If you get the woman and learn what she's all about. And I know for me, I prefer to find somebody younger because number one, I want to find a girl that's not all caught up in tattoos or changing her look for herself. She's at least trying to stay as much natural as she truly is. Those kind of things. Like that's what matters to me. And also that's not been jilted or broken or, emotionally, physically, mentally abused by bad relationships. And at least might give a chance to someone like me that doesn't know how to be in how to date relationships because I don't have the experience in it. That was the part I'm looking for. Is like maybe somebody will give me a chance to start off at the novice level and like learn for once in my life to figure out how it works with somebody that give me some room to fuck up, to be honest. Because that's really what I feel like. I'll tell you like this before I continue on. So a young lady that I know that I dated, and I've never mentioned her here on the air. I might have mentioned her, but not mentioned her specifically. But I talked to her recently, and she wanted to go and talk, and nothing about the conversation I want to bring up, but all I'm going to say is the fact that it was all of a sudden I got to hear from her again, and she wanted to talk to me. And man, I opened up. I said some stuff I was wanting to go and say for a long time to her, and I did. Opened up a lot. And it was just because in the back of my mind, I had that kind of maybe just delusional reality of like thinking that maybe there was something there for me and her, that I was hoping there was something for me being with her, but I made myself think that, well, I let her go because I don't want to get in the way of her success because she's been very successful, in the 14, 15 years, I guess. No, maybe 10, 12 years, excuse me, that I hadn't seen her. She moved away out of state. And no matter what, I'm not looking to go ahead and pursue now. That's nothing I'm going to do right now. Nothing about her. It's just that, I've been so detached from even dating in the first place. But my thing is right now, if I were going to look, even if it was like, okay, I still look for my type because I'm always going to look for my type, even though it's not good for me. But if I look for younger, then I've always thought about going after someone younger because I never even got to go through the real steps of dating past like just to get to know you stage. So I'm so inexperienced in this that I just want to figure this out. And I feel horrible for some of the people that put themselves emotionally attached out there and really just let their emotions in their heart really open up. And the expectations they have just on a first date alone for it just to go down. I mean, that's the emotion of women. Let me go and play more for Manya here.
And it's not even like that's a terrible thing to be single all your life, but like, I just can't help but feel like I'm going to turn into this because I'm never going to meet someone. And for everybody who's going to tell me, it'll come along when you least expect it. I've been hearing that for like 7 years, okay? I'm so sick of hearing that. There's such a thing as people that just don't find their person and don't get married. So like I'm a realist. And the realist in me is starting to think like that's going to be me.
Now, the way she's talking right there and what she's being told, that's the kind of shit I've been told for 32 years. 32 years, okay? Again, I'm in my late 40s. 48 to be exact. And yeah, that's exactly like, but the thing is, as a guy, I've just gotten used to the fact that, all right, well, that's what it is. And I guess for me being a guy, I've just been more accustomed to saying, okay, well, I mean, that's what my destiny is. But I've gotten past the whole thing of it upsetting me anymore. It's still, I mean, the loneliness is still there. That's the one thing I'll never get rid of. And that's the part that sucks the most. Anya, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you. And I feel bad that you're going through that because it is a lot. And it's a shame. So anyway, in the story, what happens is she's a 32-year-old hospitality worker. She went to this club for the comedy show, and it was mostly empty. And it was, again, a singles night. Only person who sat in the front row, comics singled her out for being alone. And then she got a ride home from a single 75-year-old woman who said she drove for Uber in order to meet people. And that's where she's at. So it just felt like she went here to this singles event, and it didn't do well. Let me tell you, for experience, I used to go to some of those Plenty of Fish meetups. Those were no good. I mean, you want to talk about some broken single people that get together? It's just a group. It's just a singles group that gets together. Even a friend of mine that found the Filipina girl that he's married to with a kid, he went to those singles nights, a particular singles group, and it was just a friend zone. That was all it was. There was nothing really coming out of that. And the time you would have to go and spend on all these bougie places to go hang out, which is not even like his normal thing, he just didn't feel right about. So he got out of there all the way. So what are the options for the ladies out there? Okay. What is social media? What are the magazines or the publications out there that direct their advice towards women? What are they saying right now? The big fashion mags, right? Elle magazine. Let's go to them. They're talking about Gen Z going boy sober. And for good reason. A new phrase. Listen, I'm one of those that, sometimes I catch these a little bit early on. They had the 4B movement a couple weeks ago. Friendship marriages, we had that a couple weeks ago, and that took off. So when I find these trends, I got to go and bring it out and just lay this out to all of you. So boy sober, that's the new thing here. And let's go ahead and play another TikTok clip from Just Hopping Along, who talks about this.
How did I come up with these rules? I went to dinner with my friend Julia. We started talking about it in the Uber on the way to a bar for my friend's birthday. And then at the bar, I asked the ladies around me, I said, what do we think about these rules? Da, da, da. So I did have a few people help. I had a bit of a focus group. Okay, so these are the 2024 Boy Sober rules. No dating apps, no dates, no exes, no situationships. And let me just say, my whole life I've been saying, oh, I'm single. No, I've never been single. I've always had a situationship. You're not single if someone is taking up your brain space, okay? So no situationships, no XOXOXO. And if I have to explain to you what that means, you know exactly what I mean. No XO, no hugs and kisses extended.
Wow. So cold turkey. So Hope Woodward is a comedian, age 26, but listen, if she's joking around this, or she's just kind of going along with this, okay. But for her, this could be, based in reality. And women out there that are going to be listening to this young lady, they're going to be like, they're going to take it to heart. 4B movement, soft guy era, right? The friendship marriages, all this shit's going to become, reality. You understand? People are going to actually take this to heart and really think, this is a good idea. And they're going to come across that way. And you're going to be aware this is going to be coming up soon. Because it is. So Hope's experience, and this is her off experience saying to do this. So again, no dating apps, no in real life dates, no exes, no situationships, no sex. Because this will help you, according to this, free yourself up literally and emotionally from the exhausting patterns of modern day dating, or as Hope pertinently put it, if you're not single if someone is taking up your brain space. End quote. So girls' night out, dance with your girlfriends. You're not worrying about the guy who might be looking in your direction. Having a solo Netflix date, eclipsed by the stomach-churning wait for the next text message, or fantasizing about someone you've only been on with a handful of dates with. All of that. So the point of going boy sober is to act like a circuit breaker for these feelings and associated behaviors, more like breaking a cycle of nights out and hangovers by staying away from alcohol for a few weeks. A dating cleanse, you could call it. Weeks, months, or even years. This is something that really adds more into what would be the modern day feminist. Listen, what's going to happen with this boy sober thing is that women are going to just feel like, it's not a short amount of time. They're going to feel the same way after this. And once they get themselves off the whole beaten track of like not doing anything, Hope Woodward is 26 years old. So she waits for a few years. Do we need to go and talk about the whole alpha thing where like, oh, listen, you might lose your eggs, the empty egg carton, all that kind of stuff at 30 years old, expiration date, right? Oh, by the way, Tom Likas was a guy I used to listen to quite a bit on the radio who always gave like advice to guys, Likas 101. He retired. He hung up the microphone. No more podcasts, no more radio, no nothing. Officially retired. So Godspeed, Tom Likas. But yeah, the idea is that women will feel like, well, okay, the rest of their 20s, rest of their 30s, the rest of their youth, they could say, well, you know what? I don't feel like doing any of this. It's a reaction. The feeling of like, oh, well, we just need to go and cut it. It's like going on a diet. It shouldn't be like that. When you want to go and cut away, fine. So you're going to just on purpose make sure you want to make yourself completely unavailable on purpose. And maybe somebody might come along that might be the person you've been looking for. That's the part. Like, I never want to lose hope. And I never want to, rule anything out. Like, I'll tell you this. For myself, I said this last week, sugar daddy sites, any dating sites right now, it's not by choice. It's just kind of has the way it's been. Women sober. Yeah, I've been girl sober for a long time. And what I'll say is this, I understand what they're trying to say here, what she's trying to say, but I would not want to just completely eliminate the opportunity and also go in a way where like I'm not making myself like approachable or noticed or like saying anything. Like, I mean, there's going to be a part of me that just says, well, I need to go ahead and just be doing something different. Like, I mean, I can't just shut myself down and not even try. Like, I mean, I'm at the point where like, listen, I need to absolutely have a sure thing. And I tell the guys right now, the dating game can be played, but you need to bet on a sure thing. You need to make sure that the girl you're going to be talking to is not warped, is not corrupted, and will give you an actual chance to play the dating game, that she actually wants to play it and understands that this is the thing that we do to kind of keep ourselves our boundaries until we really open up to each other and then bond and then get together. I know this is how it works. Listen, I might not have gotten together myself with anybody, but I've hooked up enough people. Let me tell you that, man. In my 20s, I was a matchmaker. I did that a lot of times, and it worked. I kind of knew what people would click together, and I used to do that quite a bit. Used to know what people's types were. So that would work. That wasn't a bad thing. But right now, it's like, but I just can't just shut myself down and say, okay, I'm just going to like completely give up. Women don't have to give up. I mean, really, it's not that hard for women with pretty privilege. What you got to understand is that you really don't need to put yourself out there, because part of the part for you, like, okay, the makeup, the clothes, what you do, the fact that someone will go through plastic surgery and go through Botox injections or BBLs or, whatever kind of procedures or treatments or whatever to make themselves feel more beautiful or to feel like it's going to work for them. Well, more guys, you would believe it or not. There's a reason why, like, you were so approachable when you were younger without all the extra makeup, with all the extra clothing or accessories and the fit and your, and what you look like, how you dressed. It didn't matter. And then someone would get upset that, oh, we see you kind of slumming it out. Yeah, you're all in sweats and, like in gym clothes, whatever, right? And we see you at the supermarket or, just going to get gas, going into the Costco, drugstore, whatever. And the guys that will hit on girls and, day game, right? That whole pickup artist thing, day game. There's a lot of guys that will do that because they probably would want to go ahead and approach a girl they meet out in public when it's not at a bar or a club anymore. Because, those kind of days are kind of like by the wayside too. That's kind of passe now. It's not so much like that anymore. I was just talking to a guy today that, we were talking about cannabis beverages and consumption lounges. And the fact that, like, alcohol is not so much of a thing that people are going after to enjoy. So people are not going so much to the bar or the clubs to go drink because it's not such a thing anymore, especially among young Gen Z. So the younger crowd, where are they going to go and hook up? You're telling me that the Gen Z, 20-somethings should just go ahead and give up on dating? No. What has to happen is that you need to go ahead and you got to go ahead and buckle down and just realize, listen, you need to start choosing better. And also just not choose just to choose. So a little more careful choice. Women just need to start really finding the signals out there and just realize you don't have to work so hard to be approached. And what has hurt a lot is because we know there's a lot of stigma out there in social media, Me Too movement. It's creeping out stuff. It's icks. It's all this kind of stuff that's been said out there. And we've heard a lot of women out there speaking on behalf of women out there, saying what women do not want, and how delusionally they might be about what the kind of woman, the man they want, and what they expect of a guy, which is a lot. And then I hear in the same vein, I hear all these women that are, they're all called pick-me's or whatever, but they're all sincere, sweet, and like I could tell, like, okay, maybe they're not influencing so much and not just trying to kind of like get a run on us or a rise out of us. They're actually like sincerely like looking for someone really good. And like, you ask yourself, where are they? What can I do to get to them? So, social media kind of, it can mess with your head like that, kind of warp it. Boy sober. I never thought we would hear this point, but hey, we're at the point now where it could very well be a thing. It sucks. Now, another question that's asked in the story from Elle Magazine is, and this is Kirsty Thatcher that writes the story, what's the difference between celibate and boy sober? Okay. Celibacy denotes giving up sex and marriage entirely, has roots in purity and control. Going boy sober is about women taking back the power in heterosexual relationships. And Hope spoke to the New York Times. I hate celibacy so much because I don't want to give credence to anyone saying you're more lovable or respectable or better if you're not having sex. Boy sober is about taking time to pause, reflect, and reprioritize, not to gain male approval. And the other main difference is the two concepts is time. Celibacy is usually a lifetime vow. Going boy sober is a temporary choice to pause, reflect, and eventually re-enter the dating pool, which by that time happens is hopefully a little more crystal clear waters and a whole lot less cesspit. The thing is that you got to keep fighting through. You got to keep treading through, because these are, for some of these women that are Gen Z, these are the most prime years of your life. You don't want to lose out hope that you might find somebody that is the love of your life, that you are going to have a great life together with. You have some of your girlfriends out there or guys that that are in marriages and they're happy and they got married early. And you're like, what are you doing getting together so early on? But you know what? I've seen it too. Sometimes, like, I don't understand how some people can just get together so early on and just be together. But I've seen it so many times. And one of the friends I had, coming out of college when I moved into West Palm Beach where I live, I remember it wasn't too long. He was already like dating with a girl, and then like early 20s, moved in together, marriage, and then off and running. And I think we've been married 16 years now. And like they're both in their 40s now, but still like early mid 20s. But they had known each other since their teens, and got 3 kids together, and they're happy, man. They're off and running, and it works. If you can do it and you find your soulmate and you marry them and you want to build a life together, there's obviously a thing where marriage, when it's the right people together, they're happy. They're happy, and that's what we want. And for those that I hear that are going to get married and all, it's like, make it work. If you're going to make the step here, make it work. Hopefully you got the right person that you have definitely committed to go ahead and putting all this together to. Because if you're going to go and make that commitment to go ahead and go down the aisle and have all your family and friends and all bear witness to the fact you're going to get together, you don't want to go ahead and go through the actual issue of like having them go break it up and see that it's not going to go well. So I don't want people to go and give up hope on marriage and relationships. And people can still date. It's obviously still there. But when there's so much out there that's getting caught up into us as to why we can't do that, that's the problem. And it's a big problem. The other option that people are talking about now more is, getting together. Like let's just go and do hookup. Let's just, non-monogamous relationships. Let's just worry about polyamory. Let's just bring in multiple people to satisfy all our needs. So there's a Frontiers of Psychology study that came out, and over 3,000 single U.S.-based adults 1 in 6 desire to engage in polyamory. 1 in 9 engage in some form of polyamory at some point in their lives. 1 in 15 knew someone who was previously engaged and was previously and currently involved in a polyamorous arrangement. There's that. And I'm like, what's going on here? So non-traditional relationships with multiple partners and different arrangements for romantic, sexual, or emotional connections. So the idea of, non-monogamous relationships are perceived to be more promiscuous, perverted, and untrustworthy than the monogamous ones. But the relationships, the review suggests, are also viewed as unsustainable and prone to jealousy. And why are non-traditional relationships gaining popularity and flourishing despite unfavorable perceptions? So there's a lot of reasons where some people might go this route and say, well, you know what? I'm not going to find one person that's going to do that with me. So let's make it where I can get multiple people. And who are the ones that are initiating these non-monogamous relationships? Women. And Gen Z, because they feel they can get two guys together. They feel like they can do the Zendaya thing in Challengers, okay? She can get two guys for one. Two guys to handle the one thing that she wants. And that's what it is. Non-monogamous relationships owe their popularity to the positive relationship and sexual outcomes they yield. There's this greater satisfaction and commitment than their monogamous counterparts, and non-traditional relationships result in greater satisfaction, boasting better communication and more openness and need fulfillment than conventional relationships. This is encouraged. So boy sober or non-monogamous relationships. What's your choice? How about neither? How about neither? Don't do either one of these. Don't. Or so I want to bring up here from Refinery 29. They talk about happy being single. I don't know if I brought the story up, but there was a whole point. Yeah, I did bring this up before. So Kira Matthews, a 29-year-old that they spoke to in the story, says that being single has given me so much permission to live life the way I want, traveling frequently, but I often see people traveling with their partners and think I really want that. So there's no rush to settle down, loves the pleasure single life affords, keeps learning more about herself, uncompromised by another. But sometimes she wishes she could share the experiences she's having with a partner, like many of us do. They don't give up. Like, be single to be single. Like, you don't have to have like a reason why. You just do it because you want to. You want to take a break? You want to unplug? Go right ahead. But don't give up on the possibility of where you could go with a relationship. And just realize you're not going to get it from a dating app. Don't worry about it. Look, I talk about sugar daddy sites because it does work. It is effective. So somebody out there did make a comment and said, oh, I must be delusional here. What did they say? Let me go ahead and go back here to what this commentary said. On my story about sugar daddy sites as a suitable replacement for desperate dating apps, Michael Angst 6078 wrote to me and said, women aren't meeting up with awkward older dudes they have no attraction for just a little bit of cash on sugar daddy sites. Who are you trying to fool exactly? I just don't have experience. I've talked to these women that have done it. If they're lying to me, there's a lot of them that are. But that's just the case. If it's some kind of attention, nevertheless, they'll take it. And remember, yeah, a little bit of cash that they're meeting for somebody they're not even meeting. They're meeting digitally, right? They're not meeting in person. And I don't know how many guys are going to be gullible enough to go and spend $500,000 at a time sending it to a Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. I don't know how a lot of guys that'll do that or willing to go and do that for someone they never met. It's just virtual. So I'm just saying that part is out there too. And well, some of the women that are out there, they have their ways of kind of using it as a means to get, the guys who can buy their content. If their OnlyFans thing is not working or they want to send them to some other place so they'll go and notice what they're doing, that's what they do it for as well. Because some women just want to be noticed. It's for attention. It's also for a little bit of money. It's also for a little bit of, and maybe there's a relationship out of there. Because there is, believe it or not. One psychological thing I want to bring up here. I'll actually a couple here. Story from Psychology Today. When rejection sensitivity meets the dating scene. Often tied to ADHD, it poses unique relationship challenges. Rejection-sensitive dysphoria, stronger than expected reaction to rejection, often experienced by those with ADHD. And for people with ADHD, there might be a neurological mechanism underlying rejection sensitivity, and young adults with ADHD may need extra support as they enter the dating scene where rejection is significant. So yeah, How many young people are out there that have ADHD or just, have kind of a disorder where they just feel like, what they're looking for and how they are able to handle, rejection or handle a bad relationship that goes bad, and they're still stuck in it and they can't get themselves out of it. Those are some of the things they bring up here that are quite interesting on this part. And that individuals with ADHD that struggle with rejection sensitivity could benefit from strengthening identity and self-esteem through psychotherapy. Because that's what we're talking about right there. Like, how many people that are in this part right now feel like they might need therapy? That's the other part that people are thinking about. All right. And then we move along and say, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? I mean, there's a lot of options out there. As I said, I just put all that out there for all these women to go ahead and listen to. And guys, you need to understand this as well. That you don't need to go ahead and take the opposite direction here either. Guys, gals, younger audience, okay? I love you. Please don't take into what these other stories are saying, okay? I'm just telling you, persevere. Don't let the dating scene and the frustration pick you apart. Social media is so good at manipulation and projecting and just putting you in a place of a fear of missing out that is just wrong. Okay, you see other people like yourself and you feel like, well, this is happening more than I really thought it was. It's because somebody else's personal story that gets out there to so many people amplifies. So it just feels like it's a bigger problem, bigger epidemic. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be in your backyard. Okay? Guys is a little more difficult. We have to work harder on it, right? We really do. By the way, there's a new trend out there on TikTok also talking about the meet people twice theory, the latest path to love. This is an interesting story, but it's actually not that bad. So the idea is you meet someone and find them in someone else. You meet someone, disconnect and reconnect. You meet someone, then you really meet them. So it's the idea of meeting people twice, positing that you meet them in real life, and then you meet their social media persona. It's also reminiscent of the German goodbye expression that translates to you always meet twice in life. Depending on the context, it can also be used as a form of karmic threat or a sweet way of saying we will meet again. Because sometimes, there is a part where, like, if you meet somebody, there's a chance you might meet them again. And there's other theories that come across that, some people on TikTok like to use, right? The orange peel theory that took off last year. That, your partner wouldn't drop everything that peeled you an orange, and then you should drop them. But it was like funny, like how many guys just like they went ahead and took the orange, peeled it and everything like that, and they gave it back to her. Like, oh yeah, it's just, out of love. TikTok flip-flops from the inevitability of destiny and soulmates, strict dating rules, and tests for partners, leaving viewers in search for love with the same mixed signals and dating experts warn them about. Right. If you go down the route of TikTok, you're going to get all these different ideas of where you're going to go. Right? If you follow TikTok and what they're doing, and you believe that all their shit that's being said out there is absolutely real, you gotta watch yourself, okay? Just saying. You're gonna start believing all this stuff that's being put out there, and it's like, are you sure this is a good idea? Like, that you think that that you're gonna get somebody out there that's gonna like say, okay, I need to go ahead and take the idea here of I should be boy sober, or I should go ahead and be non-monogamous. Why not just not worry about all that stuff? When the time is right, you'll find somebody that you're going to be in love with for the rest of your life. Until then, don't deny yourself the chance to be depraved and debaucherous.